Uh, am I audible to everybody? A very good morning to one and all. Uh, the coordinator for today is Mr. Vishnu Chari. A very good morning to all the IQAC members present here for the Google Meet and respected presenters for the day. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the coordinator for today's Conclave 3.0, Mr. Vishnu Chari. Mr. Vishnu Chari is presently working as assistant professor in the School of Chemical Sciences, Goa University. He is pursuing his PhD in computational study of selenium-based compounds at Birla Institute of Technology, Goa. He was selected as the project assistant at the solid state and structural chemistry unit IISC Bengaluru. His research work has been published in peer-reviewed and Scopus Index journals of repute. A warm welcome to you
Thank you, ma'am.
as a moderator for the day. I welcome all the participants and students who have joined us today for this Google Meet for Conclave 3.0. I request Mr. Vishnu Chari to take over. Kindly note the presentation will be as mentioned in the poster. So we first begin with me. So I request Mr. Vishnu to take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to Conclave 3.0 organized by DCT's Tempe College of Arts and Science, Miramar, Goa. As a moderator of this session, I would like to extend my warm welcome to all the speakers and the attendees. I would like to thank the organizers to make this event possible and would like to express my gratitude to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be present here. So, without any further ado, let's get started. I request the audience to ask the questions at the end of the presentation, and also would like to request audience to mute their mics during the presentation is going on. Uh, I request Ms. Nelmi Savia Costa to start her presentation titled Applications of Electroplating. Ms. Nelmi, your voice is not audible.
So, so, can you hear me?
Yes, I am able to
Hello?
hear you. Yes, I am able to hear
I
you.
request Rupit Bandari to put off your Rupit Bandari, please put off your mic.
Nelmi, you are still not audible.
Nothing.
Rupit Bandari, please put off your mic.
I request IQAC member or the person who has started with this session to mute Mr. Rupit Bhandari.
Excuse me, sir. I'm
Hello.
I think there are some technical difficulties with Nelmi. So, meanwhile, I request Vishnu to request the second speaker to start the session.
Nelmi, are you still working on the session? Okay, we'll do one thing. Meanwhile, you kind of tackle your technical problems. I request Miss Vaishnavi Nadkarni to begin with her session. The topic of her session is think plastic is the only evil. Okay. Miss Vaishnavi, you may please start with your talk. Meanwhile, Miss Nelmi, please get in touch with the technical team or please rectify the problem, whatever is happening. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Vishnu, just tell her to stop the presentation. Nelmi, please stop the presentation.
Miss Nelmi, we are not able to hear you. Please stop the presentation and you can start after Vaishnavi. Miss Nelmi, am I audible to you? Hello, Miss Nelmi. Am I audible to you?
yes, sir. You are.
Yeah, there is some problem. We are only able to see your screen. We are not able to listen to what you are saying.
So I'm speaking.
Okay, you are speaking from Mr. Rupit Bandari's phone. Can you start with your session from the beginning? Because whatever you have done so far, we were not able to listen to it.
Vishnu, you go next. Okay. But where are they sitting?
Meanwhile, if Miss Vaishnavi, if you are ready with your presentation, you may take over. And Miss Nelmi, you may start with your presentation once Miss Vaishnavi is finished with her presentation.
Mic is on. Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, Ms. Vaishnavi, you are audible to us. You may continue
Yeah.
with your presentation.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, hello, everyone. My name is Vaishnavi Vishnu Nadkarni, and the topic of my today's presentation is Think Plastic is the Only Evil. To begin with, what is plastic? In simple words, plastics are a group of materials, either synthetic or naturally occurring, that may be shaped n number of times when they're soft and harden at a later stage to retain the given specific shape. Plastics are obviously polymers that are formed when a large number of several repeating units called monomers come and join together to give one large molecule having a high molecular weight. So polymers are classified into two types, natural polymers and synthetic polymers. Under natural polymers, we have tar, shellac, tortoise shell, and so on, whereas synthetic polymers include examples like polyethylene, polypropylene, bakelite, melamine, etc. So today you'll see we are totally surrounded by the polymers. These are the synthetic polymers that we use in everyday life. So we know the common advantages the plastics offer. They are lightweight, chemically inert, excellent insulators, versatile and durable. And so we have a look at the role of polymers. We are totally surrounded by the polymers. So these are some examples. So let us see some applications of polymers in everyday life. In brief, I'll tell you. So first we have agriculture. We have the polyethylene sheeting sheets used for protecting crops. Then the protective clothing for farmers made out of PVC. Then in the kitchen we have storage containers and then Teflon cookware materials. Then we have polymers also in medical products where the packaging tablets are there. Then they are used in contact lenses made out of PMMA, that is polymethyl methacrylate. Then in wound care and also as dental polymers. Next, we have polymers in sports where they are used in protective equipments as well as event equipments. The polymers used in protective equipment for activities we have a rope and and here comes the automobile industry. It is always associated with the polymers. The various vehicle parts, they are all made out of polymers like polyurethane, polypropylene, ABS, acrylonitrile, butadiene, styrene. So having a look at certain applications of polymers, now I would like to throw light on the statistical data related to plastic or the polymer consumption and some social issues related to plastic that we are facing today. So here we see the slide shows the demand growth of plastics from financial year 2008 2013. The demand growth of plastics for various commercial commodities has been rising. We'll see that. So this production is rising, and it was estimated that by in 2021-22, the plastic demand had reached around 20.89 million tons, and it was estimated to continue growing to 22 million tons by 2023. So we see that due to ever-growing population and the demands, this plastic demand is rising. And last over 2 year decades, since the demand is rising, the plastic production has risen to a very great extent. So this slide shows the compound annual growth rate at which the plastic processing in India is flourishing in terms of million metric tons per annum, which is a very good sign. It is a good indicator of the economic growth of our country, and this has to continue. This actually implies that the lot of job opportunities in this industry are rising, so it is going to substantially benefit the people in their sustenance. It's a very good sign. Moving on to the next, let's have a look at the structure of Indian plastic industry. We have the 5 subunits which come under this. First, we have the polymer manufacturers. Secondly, equipment manufacturers, the plastic processors, fourth is end user industry, and fifth is the recycling players. So here we see the four different color arrows, and out of this I would like to highlight the dotted arrow which shows the flow of recycled plastics from the end user industries to the recycling players. So here under end user industries, we have the customers who buy the different plastic commodities, they use it and discard it. So the major concern is not about the plastic production; it's all about how much plastic waste that has been generated today is getting recycled. So there is one more important thing that everyone should know. This slide showing about the per capita plastic product consumption in kilogram per person in a year. And if we compare all the countries given over here, India's per capita plastic product consumption is just 11 kg per person. But I feel very bad to say that the kind of menace our country exhibits in the form of litter is as if 109 kg per person in a year. And why do we have to see this litter all around us? It's all because of irresponsible behavior. It just starts from our own houses, from each individual's house. I've seen some people, even though we are given two different bins with segregation of waste into dry and wet, still they don't do it. Simply mix everything together and just discard it off. So later on, this becomes a very major problem for the plastic collecting people to segregate it. The recyclers expect that they receive segregated waste. Once, since they receive it in unsegregated form, it is contaminated and it becomes really difficult for them to treat it later on. So most of this plastic waste is just dumped into local dump yard areas and landfills, and then which we see as litter around us. And this is the major reason for groundwater pollution, soil contamination, and the environmental pollution. So on the other side, we see we can mitigate the use of plastic, certain single-use plastic items like plastic cutlery, we have plastic straws, single-use plastic carry bags, and we also see that recently the government imposed ban on such certain single-use plastic items, and really don't know how many are actually following the rules. But whether the ban is imposed or not, don't you think it is our responsibility to protect the environment in which we are living? So think, is plastic the only evil, or the human beings who created this plastic to meet the insatiable demands are pure evil? So India's recycles more plastic waste than the global north, but most of it can be called as the downcycling or downcycling or the repurposing, because most of the plastic waste that around 22 million tons I said it's been generated today, and only just 3% is getting recycled. Most of the plastic waste is just dumped into rivers, clogging the water bodies and then adversely affecting the marine life. So in Hindu tradition, we have the sacred offerings made to the gods, and the offerings, since they're sacred, they're just discouraged to be dumped into landfill areas. So what people do, they just carry these offerings, which mostly include the vermilion packets or the plastic incense packets, flowers, all are just dumped into the rivers without even keeping in mind what they're actually doing. They not even aware of the consequences, because if you're dumping, we should actually see whether the plastic is it biodegradable or not. So this is just happening, it's becoming a major concern today, affecting the aquatic life. And then we have the other problem, that is ocean plastic waste. It is also become a major concern, because the oceans around Mumbai, Kerala, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they are among the world's most polluted oceans, you see. And at the global level, if I were to give an example of this such problem, then it is found in North America. This is the major plastic accumulation zone, which is formed between California and Hawaii. So you'll see that this is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This picture is showing the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And at least around 79,000 tons of ocean plastics are floating inside an area of 1.6 million square kilometers. And you can just imagine how worse it is. And the situation is worsening. because of irresponsible behavior of human activities, humans and human activities. And this waste, whatever we find that it's majorly comprising of fishing nets and the microplastics. So here, in nutshell, I just tried telling you all about the statistical data related to plastic consumption and some social issues related to it. And now I would like to conclude by showing you an amazing survey related to plastic, which was done by some Spaniards, that is Spanish people. So first, they say that plastics are completely safe materials for our health, and we'll definitely agree with this because this is the reason we are using in each and every field of area today. Um, Plastics, secondly, they say plastics keep food fresh and avoid food wastage by extending the shelf life of products since and preserving the quality of the food for long duration. Then today's modern medicine cannot be understood without plastics. Whatever the advanced surgery technologies that we have today, they just cannot work without plastics. Then we have them having role in the home security systems, anti-fire technologies, firefighters equipment, and some passive safety, we have airbags and seat belts. These are all plastics, and we just cannot think our lives without them. Plastics, they are durable and hence they find also application in the construction sector as well. They say that plastics do not deplete oil reserves. Just 4 to 6% is used for plastic production, and rest goes in fuel consumption. Plastics save water, energy, and carbon dioxide emissions. Banning plastic products is not the solution to littering. The solution lies in awareness. We must stop and also in a responsible behavior. We must stop the leakage into environment of any type of product, not only just plastic products. We really need to be careful. The solution to marine litter lies in our responsible behavior. Good management of waste is crucial for reducing marine litter. Single-use plastics are indispensable in some applications such as hygiene, safety, and food preservation. And last, reduce, reuse, and recycle is everyone's responsibility. Plastics are recyclable materials, and in order to be recycled, it is important that we manage them correctly. Separate the waste properly, do not litter. So think before you trash, because a little effort towards cleaning our environment is always better than no effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vaishnavi. It was a nice presentation. Audience, if you have any questions, you may ask questions now. Yes, Mr. Dhanesh, you may please ask the question.
Yeah, so first of all, a very nice subject picked up and very nicely presented, Vaishnavi. Just one thing, I understood while maintaining discipline to manage this waste, there should be also efforts for future to have a better option. Until and unless another option is also available, nothing will move ahead. So you can work on this topic in the next level of your attempt. That's all. Thank you. But
Yeah.
wonderful presentation, wonderful data.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Anyone, if anybody has
Mr.
questions,
Oro,
then
Mr. Oro, you may ask your question.
Yeah, thank you, Vishnu. Vaishnavi, how the microns of plastic is measured? No, whether that plastic is belong is how to say that? Whether the plastic is of so and so microns. You know not how the government is saying you have to use only this types
yeah.
of plastic of microns. How the micron is measured?
Um, Actually, sir, I really don't have knowledge of that. Sorry, so I won't be able to answer this.
No, no,
Microns.
it's okay. And because
Yeah.
see, in previous year, the government had brought a ban on using of plastic bags in the market, and
Yeah.
government is directed for the collector and the mamledars to check all types of microns of this thing, and the mamledar is just going and scratching the plastic bag and saying, no, this is out not 45 micron, this is less than 45. You have to use this much. but how it is measured, that is my question. Anyway, it's okay. Good,
Yeah,
good, good presentation. Good.
thank you, sir.
Any more questions to the speaker? Yeah, Mr. Mangesh, Dr. Mangesh, sorry, you may ask the question. Dr. Mangesh, you may ask your question.
Hello.
Dr. Mangesh, please unmute yourself and you may ask your question.
Am I audible?
Yes, right
Yes,
now you're
yes,
audible.
sir, you're audible.
Yeah. A very nice data presented, very informative presentation, very nicely put up also. Just wanted to make one comment is the measurement is done with a micrometer. The thickness of the bags are measured with micrometer, not manually by just touching
Okay,
it.
thank you, Mr. Mangesh.
Thank you, Dr. Mangesh. If there are no more questions, then I would request our next speaker, uh, Mr. Pratham Kamre, to present his presentation titled Weather Monitoring System Using IoT.
So, okay. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Pratham Kamble. I'm from TY BSc Computer Science, and my topic of today's presentation is smart traffic light system using IoT. So, first we'll see the introduction. So, in early 90s, when there were no traffic lights, the police officers were assigned the work to route the vehicles. So, then in 1912, a young police officer came up with an idea that what if there was a tool to regulate the cars at the intersection instead of police officers. Then Wire came up with a wooden box on a pole. This wooden box had two light bulbs, one red and a green. Those bulbs were connected to the electricity so that they can be switched from one to another with a press of a button. That's something a petrol officers could do from a booth at the side of the road. Since then, the traffic lights have evolved a bit. Now a yellow, now we have a yellow light and don't need a petrol officers to press the button. But the original concept has remained largely the same. Then, what is smart traffic light? A smart traffic lights are the system that combines the traditional traffic lights with an array of sensors and embedded system to intelligently route the vehicles. Now, what is this embedded system? Embedded systems are the combinations of software and hardware that are designed to perform the specific task. The smart signals communicate with each other and adapt to changing traffic conditions to reduce the amount of time that the cars spend idling. Now, on intersection, the smart traffic lights look the same except for some extra hardware components such as IoT sensors or they are connected to CCTV cameras. Now, now we'll see how the traffic lights are able to communicate with each other. They communicate via technology known as IoT. Now, what is this IoT? IoT is a short form for Internet of Things. It is a technology that connects the devices and machines to the internet by means of wireless technologies. In simple terms, the Internet of Things is a network of physical objects that contain embedded technology to communicate and sense with their internal states or external environment. Till now, over 9 billion things or devices are connected to the internet. Now, sensors. As the way in humans, the sensor receptors detects the changes and sends the information to the brain so that our brain can process it. The same way, IoT sensors are the piece of hardware that detects the changes in the environment and collects the data. They are the piece of IoT ecosystem that bridges the digital world to the physical world. IoT sensors may detect the things like temperature, pressure, motion, and humidity, etc. Then type of IoT sensors. There are many different types of IoT sensors. They come in different types of shape and sizes. The ultrasonic sensors. An ultrasonic sensor is a sensor that is used to measure the distance to an object using the ultrasonic sound waves. Then motion sensors. Motion sensors are used to detect the physical movement in an area. Motion sensors are mostly used in hotels for automatic light systems. Then temperature sensor. Temperature sensors measures the amount of heat generated from an area or an object. Here are some pictures. The first is ultrasonic sensor. The ultrasonic sensor looks like it has eyes-like structure. One of it is called a transducer, and one is called a receiver. The transducer sends the ultrasonic waves, and as soon as the ultrasonic sound waves strikes any object, they bounces back, and this is received by a receiver, and that's how the ultrasonic sensor is able to calculate the distance to an object. Then uh, the motion sensor. This motion sensor is also called as PIR sensor or passive infrared sensors. These sensors collects the infrared radiations emitted by any body. Then temperature sensor. This is also called as a DHT11 sensor. They are used to detect the temperature. Then comes actuator. An actuator is a mechanism by which a control system acts upon the environment. An actuator requires a control signal and a source of energy. Upon receiving a control signal, the actuator responds by converting the energy into mechanical motion. And here are some pictures of actuators. The first is a hydraulic actuator that uses liquids, then the pneumatic actuators, uh, and mechanical actuators. Now, let's see the components of IoT. A smart system and Internet of Things are driven by combination of sensors, connectivity, data processing, and user interface. We saw sensors that sensors collects the information, and this cloud. Clouds are the servers or the computers that are used to store the information. So when this sensor collects the information and send it to the cloud, to send this information to the cloud, there must be a medium. So connectivity is the medium through which the sensors sends this information to the cloud. Now, once this data is sent to the cloud, the software performs some kind of processing on it. It could be checking if the, for example, it could be checking if the temperature is within the acceptable range or not. Now, what if the temperature is not within the acceptable range? Here, here is where the user interface comes into picture. If the temperature is not is too high or not into the acceptable range, the user gets an alert saying that the temperature is not in the acceptable range, or an alert message is given to the user saying that the temperature is too high. Then we'll see some drawbacks of the traditional traffic light. Uh, so many of us travel to college via vehicles, and on the way to college, we encountered a junction opposite to Kala Academy, where an inside road comes from Santines and connects to the main road. So what I noticed here is, even if there are no cars coming from the Santines road, still because of the traffic signal, the cars going on the main road have to wait. This results in unnecessary congestion, and energy is wasted as there is no vehicle movement, and the cars have to spend time idling. The solution to this would be a smart traffic light system. How does a smart traffic light system works? The smart traffic light system provides a solution for controlling traffic congestion. This is achieved by sensing an approaching vehicle and then switching on the traffic lights ahead of the vehicle. As the vehicle passes by, the traffic lights switch off automatically, thus helps in saving a lot of energy. Now, here is a small model of how a smart traffic light works. Now imagine this straight road as a main road and the other as service road. So as we know, very few cars uses the service road, and installing a traditional traffic light will lead to unnecessary congestion on the main road. So what? So we uses a smart traffic light. What does a smart traffic light do? Initially, the signal on the main road will be green, and that on the service road it will be red. Now, once as soon as the car comes through the service road, this ultrasonic sensor will detect the motion, and the signal on the main road will turn to green, and that on the service road will turn to green, so that the car can easily enter the main road. Uh, so as you saw, when this car crossed the ultrasonic sensor, the traffic light on the main road turn into green, and that on the service road it turn sorry the traffic signal on the main road turn into red, and that on the service road it turn into green, and timer is given a time is given for the cars to enter the main road. Once the timer is over, then the traffic signal will shift back to its initial position. The advantages of smart traffic light. The smart traffic lights are better than time-based traffic control. They save considerable amount of time. They avoid traffic jams, which cause public inconveniences and saves energy. And this is an example of AI traffic signal that are installed at Meshi Junction using the IoT technology. These are some of the references, and thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Pratham. It was really a nice presentation. Uh, there are some questions in chat box. Uh, I think Mr. Phase Hector is asking, like he had some comments. It is like it is not necessary to send all the data to the cloud. Means if you have any sort of comments on this particular things, then you may tell later on. First thing what was said was that it is not necessary to send all the data to the cloud. I think this is with respect to your second or third slide. And one more question was there. This is with respect to the traffic, smart traffic lights that you were discussing. What if the light stops working? So this was the two questions or two comments that we got on the chat box. You may answer this. Meanwhile, other participants may kind of raise their hands to kind of ask any questions. Okay, Mr. Oro, you may ask after Mr. Pratham answers this particular question.
So actually, such condition doesn't come because these traffic lights are maintained by the technical team. So even if the traffic lights So it is maintained by the technical team. So such condition doesn't come.
Uh, Mr. Oro, you may ask your question. Dr. Mangesh, you may ask your question. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Pratham, good that this topic is being discussed, but all that you have given is localized to one signal point, right? What I would like to suggest, have you extended it for a GPRS connection so that you know the flow of the incoming traffic from a far off and the signals are adjusted because IoT can be extended far and wide on this topic. So this could be something that you could think over.
Yes, sir.
If you have thought,
Sure.
you can share the your discussion points.
No, no, sir. I'll think about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions are there to Mr. Pratham? Okay, there is one comment by Mr. Face Actor. He says that we can have pressure plates near the junction to enable and disable the lights accordingly. Any comments you have, Pratham? I have one comment with respect to this particular thing. We may have the pressure plates, but if we install these pressure plates, then vehicles who are coming from service road towards the main road, they are going to unnecessarily stop means traffic on the main side or main road. That may be a problem. So some solution has to come. This is my personal opinion. There may be some other uh, kind of look towards it. If there are no more question to Mr. Pratham, then I thank him for a nice presentation, and I request Mr. Brandon was to kind of start with his presentation. The topic of his presentation is weather monitoring system using IoT. Mr. Brandon, you may start with your presentation.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Brendan Vaz. I am currently pursuing my third year BSc in computer science, and my topic for today's presentation will be a weather monitoring system using Internet of Things, or shortly called IoT. So my friend Pratham has already explained a lot about IoT and how it's used. But a basic definition about IoT is that it is a network of physical objects, mainly a small components which are connected together, and they work together to transmit data of different. Each component will have different functions, and so all of them come together and transmit data over the internet to a location to be processed or used. So I'll be talking about the weather monitoring system. So similarly, it's a network of connected devices that gather data on weather conditions basically, and they transmit this data over the internet to a central location for analysis and processing. So as you can see in this example picture over here, there'll be a raindrop sensor, a temperature and humidity sensor, and these sensors come together to transfer the data they collect to a weather station where it will be processed and analyzed. So let's go forward. Why do we need an IoT based weather monitoring system? So it allows easy monitoring of local weather conditions in real time from anywhere in the world. So everybody with this monitoring system in hand, it can be easily available to anyone and be used as a project. So they can easily monitor their weather conditions around their surroundings. It can be at their home or an office area or anywhere they want to. So let's go to the second point. It says storing weather and environment data for short and long-term study. So this is basically this system can basically be used by climatologists and meteorologists for for studying weather pattern changes. It can be either long-term or short-term, and they understand how human-induced climate change affects your local weather. So as you can see, staying in Goa all these days, it's been very hot, and this temperature rise has been uh, this rise is connected to the Arctic Circle and all the pollution that's causing the climate change over there. So the third point is the easy deployment of the setup for monitoring local atmospheric conditions and microclimates for weather forecasting and prediction. So as I said in the first point as well, uh, this system can be easily bought by anyone, and easy deployment of the setup can be done and be used. So this is basically how the final system will look like. It might look complicated for those who are new to this subject. So basically, this is the entire system, and this is the phone and application on which you can easily monitor what is happening in the surrounding areas related to the weather. So there are a lot of sensors involved over here. We will be looking at each one of them in particular. So we'll understand what types of sensors are involved in weather monitoring. So, for example, we can take farmers who need to know the temperature, the humidity, the soil moisture, rainfall, etc., to enhance their crop production and accordingly take action to the data. So, the temperature sensor is used over here to understand the temperature, and the humidity sensor, soil moisture sensor, and rain sensor are used in this system. So, the farmers can understand what can take in this data and accordingly make decisions. So another example about this is for an airplane pilot, he or she needs to know the wind speed, direction, atmospheric pressure, precipitation, etc. before they take off. So the following sensors are used. Barometric sensor. It is basically used to tell the atmospheric pressure at the level the plane is going to fly, and the anemometer, which is going to give information about the wind direction and speed, and the rain sensor, visibility sensor. So in conclusion, the sensors used for monitoring weather depends on the type of application we are going to deploy for. So this is a simple diagram of a weather monitoring system. There are many components here. We will be looking at each component. This is the blue thing in the middle is basically the Arduino Uno board. It's the brain of the system, and it connects all of the system to make it work together. So as you can see over here on the right side of the screen, there are a lot of different sensors, and let's take a look at each one of them. Yeah, so the first sensor is a generic ESP8266 Wi-Fi module. It's this black chip over here basically, and it has a simple use to connect the entire system to Wi-Fi to an internet, so it can transfer the data it collects over the internet to another source, so it can be processed. And this is so all of this requires a power supply. So a 9 volt to 12 volt DC supply is taken from a wall adapter, and it's converted to a 5 volt and 3.3 volt, whatever you want to connect it to provide power to the Arduino board and sensors. So this is done. So this power is decreased to 5 volts and 3.3 volts, as if you put a higher power in the Arduino board, the system can permanently get damaged. So there's a green light over here which signals whether the is being connected to the Arduino board. If it's not connected, the green light is off. If it is connected, it shows on. So this is the display which shows the output which you want to know. So whatever function happens, like for example, the light detector shows the light percentage is 92% over here. So whatever output you want to get from your data, it will be shown on this screen over here. This is an important model used in this system. It's called the DHT11 temperature and humidity module. So it's basically a digital sensor responsible for collecting temperature and humidity data from your surroundings. It shows you the humidity percentage and the temperature of your local surrounding area, so you can understand if whether it might rain or not and what the temperature is around your local surroundings. So it has three pins: the VCC, the ground, the data. The VCC pin is a 5-volt supply which gives this power gives power to this component. And if the power is extra, the extra power is sent to ground, so it doesn't damage the device. And the data pin, which is the last one, which connects to the AO pin of the Arduino. This is the it is basically giving a continuous supply of data to the system. So you're continuously monitoring the temperature and humidity levels. So this is how it would look after you monitor your temperature and humidity. It shows the temperature as 28 degrees Celsius and humidity as 37%. Another sensor we used over here is BMP 180 barometric sensor, capable of measuring atmospheric data in planes. It can give atmospheric pressure at ground and atmospheric pressure at sea level. You can see over here, it's given in Pascal. This is the ground pressure, and this is the sea level pressure. The MQ45 sensor, it is used to detect what kind of air samples are there in your surroundings. So for example, it can detect ammonia, it can detect CO2 levels, nitrogen levels in the local surroundings. Farmers use this to detect ammonia, basically which affects their crop production. And then the final component is the light dependent resistor. So it's responsible for collecting data about the intensity of lights at your surroundings. A simple example for light dependent resistor is that it is used in street lights. So when the natural light of the sun fades away, it registers that the light is decreasing, and it sends a signal for the street light to turn on. So automatically this system maneuvers it. So yeah, it is essentially a resistor that is sensitive to light, and when higher intensity light falls on the sensitive surface, its resistance drops, and when less light is received, its resistance increases inside the resistor. And this is the the part of component of our system, Arduino Uno. It is basically the brain of the system, and without this system, nothing will work. It connects all the components together and sends the data across. So it is a microcontroller board based on an Atmega 328 microcontroller chip. It's a popular chip that forms the heart of the Arduino board. So this is widely used in various applications such as robotics, automation, IoT, and many other DIY projects. Even and you don't have to be a professional to use it. You can either be a student, you can also be you can just have an interest in Arduino and buy it and use it. So I'll explain some major uses of IoT in India. This is called as home automation at Google. It is used in Google Nest as a line of smart home devices developed by Google. It includes mainly smart thermostats, which can give you control of the temperature at your office, your workspace, or your home through internet on your mobile phone, even though you are not at home. So this is designed to work together and control through a single mobile application, making it easy to manage and monitor your home from anywhere. So I'll show you a video on this.
This thermostat will make you love your thermostat. It's in millions of homes around the world. It's saved billions of kilowatt hours of energy so far. And that's just the beginning. Meet the third generation Nest Learning Thermostat. It has a bigger, sharper screen, and it's even better at learning what you like. Just turn it up or down. It will catch on after a few days and create a personalized schedule for you. That's how the Nest thermostat saves energy.
So as you saw in the video, the Nest thermostat, it 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 can change whether you want the room temperature to be high or low, and according to your schedule, it learns your schedule, and then you don't have to maintain it too much. So the next application over here is a smart agriculture system, which is currently being implemented in many states around India. It is a system using IoT. Improve farming efficiency, reduce waste, and increase crop yields. Like it shows all the data received from the farms on your mobile phone, and it can help farmers make data driven decisions to adapt to changing environmental conditions. I have another video to explain this.
Want to get closer to the F1 action this season? With F1 TV Pro, you can. In this video, we will make IoT-based smart agriculture with automatic irrigation system. Here we will use capacitive soil moisture sensor to measure moisture content present in the soil. DHT11 humidity temperature sensor to measure the air temperature and humidity. Using a 5-volt power relay, we will control the water pump.
As you can see over here, it shows the temperature, the air, and the soil moisture.
Whenever the low quantity of moisture is detected in the soil, the motor automatically turns on, and hence the irrigation is done automatically.
So this basically, the sensor detects that the soil is dry, and automatically the irrigation, it feeds in water to that soil. So this is how farmers use this device. So recently, Jammu and Kashmir government has started using this sensor-based smart agriculture project for farmers. It would enable the use of high-tech polyhouse for cultivation of cash crops around the year with application of IoT. Yeah, so these are my references. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Uh, nice presentation. And we got to know so many areas in which IoTs may be used. The session is open for the question. Mr. Oro wants to ask the question. You may unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, Mr. Mani, what I would like to see, IoT is connected to any satellite, or it is just work on like a normal device? Is it connected to a satellite?
Yeah, it can be connected to satellites, and then transfer the information will be transferred to a centralized location.
Okay. And what about the launching of satellite? Whether they are this IoT are also used to launch the satellites in the space, like many satellites had been launched, no?
Yes. So
Like
IoT
purposely like weather, yeah, for the weather report and for other information, data collections.
yes, IoT can be used over there, as it can gather information about all the air, the temperature, the humidity, the weather conditions, especially whether it will rain on that day or not.
Okay. And what about the money? This one, is there any radiation when the IoT is used, like in the house, like measuring? Yeah, it's shown that video of room temperature. Is there any radiations?
No, there's no radiation involved.
Okay. Okay. Good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brandon, you have around two comments in the chat section. Phase Hector is asking one question, or basically one comment is there. I'll read the comment. He says that I feel a machine learning weather prediction model would be better, cheaper, and more robust, as we don't need to calibrate the sensors. This is with respect to the components which are used in the IoT, or making the framework of the IoT. Whatever your kind of response is there, you may give to this particular comment, or you may read the question from the chat section.
So he has also said about if the sensors corrode. So
Yes.
this will also require the other sensors will require maintenance time and again, and it has to be checked by the developers or whoever puts it in place. So answering the machine learning weather prediction model, um, yeah, even that can be used, but yeah, even that can, because they both perform the similar functions. So even using my system, the system which I explained, the farmer whoever is checking will have to predict the temperature or whether it will rain or not. So it's basically the same, I feel.
I would like to just pass one comment with respect to this. A machine learning may be used to kind of process the data which is generated from IoT and give the prediction model for that. Okay, is there any more, or are there any more questions to Mr. Brandon? Okay, if not, then I'll request Miss Nilmi to sort of start with her presentation. I hope Mr. Nelmi, you are, sorry, Miss Nelmi, you are ready with the presentation. You may start with the presentation.
Nilmi, are you online? You may start your presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
In your presentation, please, can you begin your presentation?
Am I? Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, tell me.
I'm audible.
You're audible, but your screen, you have not shared your screen.
Yeah, yeah. One second.
Okay, you can start. We can't hear you. Unmute your mic.
Yes, it's unmuted, ma'am.
Okay, screen begin.
You can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see the screen. You can go from page one, screen one, and then start.
Yes. Okay, so good afternoon, respected sir, and my fellow speakers. So I'm Nelmi Costa, pursuing chemistry, and I'm here to present on electroplating and its applications. So first and foremost, a brief of what is electroplating. Electroplating is basically the process method of electrode deposition is used to coat an object in a layer of metal. Engineers use this method to transfer the desired metal coating from an anode to the cathode. Now, anode basically represents the metal part that is used for plating, and cathode is the device or object onto which you will coat the metal. Now, there's often a confusion between electroforming and electroplating. So let's focus on this, that electroforming is used to create solid metal pieces, while electroplating is just plating a thin layer of metal onto an object that is made of any other material. So in this slide, as you can see, there are some substrate materials which one can coat with metal. And on the left-hand side are the materials that can be used for coating, like metals such as brass, cadmium, chromium, copper, gold, iron, nickel, silver, titanium, and zinc. So here's where I actually begin my topic, the applications of electricity. To start with aerospace. Many airplane components are electroplated to add a sacrificial coating which increases lifespan of parts by reducing corrosion. Since aircraft components are subjected to extreme changes like temperature, environmental factors, electroplating is extremely useful. And an example of this is many bolts and fasteners are designed that are electroplated in chromium. In fact, recently we do not use chromium much. What they use is zinc nickel mixture. Next, art and home decor. Artisans turn biodegradable items like flowers, leaves, and even bugs into durable and long lasting pieces of art using electroplating. Thus, electroplating can be used to preserve fine details in items that would otherwise decompose. Electroplating is thus used to create art, and as you can see in the picture, like the copper plated beetle. Automotive. Many major automotive companies use electroplating to create chrome bumpers and other metal parts. For example, VW company teamed up with Autodesk to create hubcaps that were first 3D printed and then electroplated. Jewelry. We often hear people boast or shopkeepers use words like gold plated or silver plated. Yes, these gold plated or silver plated items were first subjected to the process of electroplating before they could reach your doorstep. Jewelers rely on this process to enhance the color, durability, and aesthetic appeal of rings, bracelets, pendants, and the like. Medical and dental. Electroplating aids in various dental procedures. For example, creating tooth inlays, as you can see from the picture again. Implanted parts such as replacement joints, screws, plates are frequently electroplated to make parts more corrosion resistant and compatible with pre-insertion stabilization. Power. Numerous electrical and solar components are electroplated to increase conductivity. Solar cell contacts and various types of antennas are routinely manufactured using electroplating. To state a few, wires are electroplated in silver and nickel. Gold plating is often used to increase durability. Uh, Next, we have prototyping. Producing custom or low volume metal parts for prototyping can be very costly and time consuming by traditional manufacturing processes. Thus, engineers often prefer to use electroplating and 3D printing as a combination as the solution. And last but not the least, we have RF and microwave products. Antennas need to have electrical conductivity to propagate radio waves. Now, since 3D printed parts are insulators, they offer infinite design freedom and good thermal properties. Also, these benefits combined with electroplating can be a great solution for custom antennas, for research and development in automotive, as I've stated earlier, defense, medicine, and education. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Nelmi. If there are any questions to Miss Nelmi, you may ask now. There are no questions from the audience, but I have one question. You have showed that for home decors and all, some insects are coated with metal coating. Okay, so how the non-conducting body like insect is coated with metal? Because for electroplating, what I understand is that we need to have some sort of electrical conduction. So how is it done? Can you tell us?
So probably maybe they'll have electrodes connected to them, and then the process would be carried out.
Okay, I would suggest that kindly look into this particular thing. Anyways, overall the presentation was really nice. At the at this point, I would like to congratulate all the speakers to nicely present their topics. Uh, Overall, to summarize, what we have seen is that the first presentation basically spoken, or the person has spoken nicely about how to use the plastic responsibly, and we normally think that plastic is a evil, but there is a good side to that thing. It depends. It is really a sort of question where is plastic really evil, or the users who are making it to look evil. So the thing is that we have to use plastic responsibly, and also we need to kind of do little bit more research to kind of handle the plastic waste properly. And also, Mr. Pratham and Brandon basically gave some good awareness about IoT and how IoT can be used, or how IoT will be used in future to kind of augment human life, and also it may help in saving or basically preventing the loss of the property as well as life that may happen because of any sort of weather or traffic congestion or traffic related issues. And we also sort of discussed about the applications of electroplating. Electroplating has huge applications in overall industries, and how where they can be used have been shown by Miss Nalini. So at this point, I thank all the participants and the organizers to arrange this particular thing, and I hand over the session to Miss Roshit. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vishnu. I request all the participants to fill up the feedback form. A link is provided in the inbox. Kindly open the link and provide your valuable feedback for session 4, Conclave 3.0. We come to the last part of this day, that is the vote of thanks. And on behalf of the principal, IQAC coordinator, Dr. Mukta Karmadi, IQAC members, internal as well as external members who are present today, attending the online Google Meet, I would like to extend, as well as the presenters of today's sessions, you all were excellent, okay, and you all have really presented your views very well. On behalf of IQAC, I would extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. Vishnu Chari for giving us his precious time and taking part in this Conclave 3.0 as a moderator for the day.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
will, you're most welcome. I would also like to thank all the mentors for taking their time in assisting and guiding all the mentees and making a successful presentation. I would like to thank our IT team, Mr. Gaurang Bane, for always helping us in organizing the event successfully. Uh, Thank you, students, for attending today. Wish you all a very happy weekend. Thank you. God bless. Feedback form without fail. Please fill up the feedback form.